Expelsia, the beginnings. Before there was Expelsia, before the flying islands took shape, there was Zahikusa, the architect of worlds. Zahikusa forged realms like Infinity Nova, Evo, and Dominion, each woven with the threads of time, space, and possibility. His creations were infinite canvases, destined to be filled with life and conflict. But Zahikusa did not shape life himself. For that, he entrusted his sibling in eternity, Ibexor, the life-bringer. From Ibexor's hands came the spirits, the Nakis, and even Axos. Though none yet knew what fate that creation would carry, Ibexor sowed life into Zahikusa's worlds, filling them with purpose, ambition, and growth. Still, Zahikusa and Ibexor both knew that worlds and lives needed guidance, for unchecked, they would collapse into chaos. And so came Ramsus, the Gatekeeper of Will. Ramsus granted power to players, mortals beyond the veil, able to guide and command the peoples of Zahikusa's realms, the spirits, the Nakis, the armies of Infinity Nova itself. But Ramsus placed a boundary. No player could control Axos, for Ibexor's creation was bound to his own free will. The Expelsia region did not always look like it does today. The flying archipelago has changed over time. Once fertile islands are now only barren desert landscapes, and the largest of all islands, the pride of Expelsia, is only a shadow of its former self. Even the sky is obscured by an ominous purple veil. But how did it come to this? Who is powerful enough to destroy mountains? For that, we must go back to the beginnings of Expelsia. Far away from any civilization, up in the skies, there is a mysterious floating group of islands. The islands, seemingly thrown together at random and yet somehow connected, form a region later known as Expelsia. But they are still undiscovered, nature untouched, and the secret of the floating islands unsolved. However, this does not mean there is no life there. The fertile islands, with their lush meadows, dense forests, and rivers meandering through the landscape, are home to many unique animals and plants. One island stands out above the rest, larger than all the others, with a majestic fountain in its middle. Its towering mountain rises high into the air, piercing the clouds. At its edge graze herds of Ovivis, and circling above are the mighty Teryx, hunters of the skies. Though locked in predator and prey balance, their existence remains part of the peaceful rhythm of the mountain. At this time, they are but wild creatures, unaware of the names later given to them, concerned only with survival. The entire region is under the spell of a mysterious force, a gift seated deep within by Zahikusa, but infused with life by Ibexor. It makes the trees grow faster, the animals evolve stronger, and the land itself pulse with energy. This force is most powerful at the center, on the largest island with the greatest mountain. There, life grows restless, waiting for its destiny. The spirits, firstborn of Ibexor, were a peaceful people of nomads. They wandered from place to place, trading with locals and observing landscapes, cultures, and creatures wherever they went. How they discovered Expelsia is a secret only they know. But to them it was as if they had found a home they never realized they were seeking. The spirits settled upon Expelsia, living in harmony with nature and revering the great mountain they named Mount Animarum. The Teryx and the Ovivis became sacred beings in their lore, manifestations of the life Ibexor had blessed them with. Over generations, they adapted. Some became grass spirits, others forest spirits, but always they lived closely with the land. Until one day, the Ovivis and Teryx vanished. Legends would later explain it as the will of Ibexor himself. That life must sometimes retreat in order to endure. Their disappearance left only memory and story, whispered by campfires. But spirits were not to be alone forever, for while they kept Expelsia's location hidden, one fateful night in a tavern, the Golden Teryx, two young Nakis coaxed the secret out of a drunken spirit. Soon after, the Nakis arrived in their airships. They were curious, ambitious people, also children of Ibexor, though their path was one of invention and expansion rather than harmony. Settlements rose, cultures mingled. Grass spirits sometimes traded with Nakis, while forest spirits withdrew deeper into nature. Over time, the Nakis spread across nearly all of Expelsia's islands, all but the sacred Mount Animarum, which the spirits forbade any from approaching. Among all of Ibexor's creations, none were more fateful than Axos. A wanderer from distant lands, Axos came to Expelsia in a colossal airship, seeking the truth of Soulstone, the mineral believed to be the source of Expelsia's power. To the spirits, his aura was alien yet familiar. They sensed the corruption of balance within him. Over weeks, Axos grew impatient, consumed by his obsession. His staff of Soulstone no longer glowed pure blue, but violet, corrupted. With it, he slew Nakis in cold blood, revealed his madness, and set his airship toward Mount Animarum. From the storm he summoned came devastation. Purple lightning struck, shattering the mountain's peak into ruin, unveiling the largest deposit of Soulstone in all of Expelsia. But as the Soulstone was revealed, it was also twisted. Corruption spread. From Axos' experiments were born the Atlas and Valak, creatures of pure corrupted Soulstone, driven by hate. So began the War of Expelsia. Axos unleashed his Atlas and Valak, conquering island after island. Settlements burned, spirits mourned, and Nakis scattered. Only on the outer islands did survivors endure, adapting in new ways. Some Nakis took up arms, forming warriors for the first time in their history. Others became druids, wielding Soulstone in harmony, resisting Axos' corruption. Some became hermits, seeking truth like spirits. And still others became the zealous raider Nakis, worshippers of Soulstone, who built cults around its power. The landscape itself twisted, rivers dried, deserts spread. Corrupted creatures like the Rainax and Pangoan emerged. Mount Animarum's ruin was renamed the Crater of Immortality, forever cloaked in purple mist. When all seemed lost, the Ovivis and Teryx returned. Drawn once more to Soulstone, they emerged from myth into reality, restoring hope to the spirits. To many, it was Ibexor's hand guiding life to return when it was needed most. Yet their true purpose remained unclear. Were they allies in the fight against Axos, or beings with their own designs? The chaos of Expelsia did not go unnoticed. Beyond its skies, whispers of Soulstone spread. Adventurers from distant lands, some even descendants of those who had banished Axos long ago, began their journeys into Expelsia. They came not only to stop Axos, but also to claim the riches of Soulstone. And here Ramsus revealed his hand. He opened the veil between Zahikusa's worlds and the minds of players, allowing them to step into Expelsia through will alone. Players could command the armies of Nakis, spirits, and more, shaping the course of the war. Yet Ramsus forbade them to control Axos, for Axos was Ibexor's creation, free, untouchable, destined to test both mortals and immortals. Thus the story of Expelsia continues, a world born of Zahikusa's design, filled with Ibexor's creations, and shaped by Ramsus' chosen players. A world now locked in a battle between corruption and survival, legend and ruin, power and hope. Who will succeed in defeating Axos and claim the coveted Soulstone? Or will Expelsia itself fall to violet shadow forever?